guys, what's up? It's Coach Carroll. Welcome to another episode of the Sales Factory. I'm your host, of course, and I've got some friends in the Sales Factory with me today. I got the Weavers, baby, from the Weavers Sales Academy. You guys have probably heard Michael on here before. I've got Courtney with him today as well. Some may say his better half. And I'm super excited because they're just coming back fresh off of a trip to magical Sedona. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. They sent me a little swag pack. I'm going to open that. So if you're not watching it on the video portion, go check it out on YouTube for the long form. And then, of course, we're going to spit some game on sales. Weavers, welcome to the Sales Factory, baby.
Yo, what's going on? That was not planned.
Perfect.
That was not planned.
We're basically conjoined twins at this point. Gosh.
You guys were touching on those magic rocks out there in Sedona in the mountains, man. You guys go to the portal. Did you find the portal?
We actually lived, so where our house was intersected between 3 different vortexes. So we didn't even need to go to a portal. We lived in one.
That was in the portal. So some of my listeners right now are like, the fuck, am I on the Sales Factory? Yeah. So guys, Sedona is very hippie-ish, which if you guys are new to knowing Michael and Courtney, we've made great friends with them over the years. We hung out at a TP, like a legitimate TP, the first time ever seeing them in person. We were leaving Vegas. They stopped and camped. We're on a road trip. Like, hey, we'll hang out with you guys. So hung out in the hot tub, got to know them at the TP, and then I've just stayed connected ever since then. They are free spirits just like Victoria and I, and so I think that's why we hit it off so well. And so for those of you that don't know, Sedona is a very magical place to a lot of people. There's portals and vortexes and crystals and gems and all kinds of stuff, snow on top of the mountains to boot. And so they've been out there. If you guys go check out their Instagram, they're posting all these crazy hikes, giving me like massive FOMO. And it's hard for me to get FOMO, but I was having a little bit of FOMO. And so I want to just hear from you guys, like, how awesome was that? 3 months you guys were out there, if I remember correctly?
106 days. So almost 4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible, man. I mean, we were hiking, 40 miles a week on average, roughly. So it was
smokes.
I mean, you know how the winter is here in the Midwest. It's gloomy and cold. And so by being able to go out to Sedona for almost 4 months, sunny, nice weather, got outside, and some magical stuff happened. We had great conversations. I mean, there's something about being able to get outside, have no cell phones, and just have intentional conversations for 3 to 4 hours in a setting.
And whatever profession that you're in, if you're a high performer and a high achiever, it almost becomes like a drug. Like you become obsessed with what's next, what's better, what's more, how do I improve? And so for us, it's really always been about finding that balance between, that's why we call ourselves ambitious hippies, between really working towards our goals, but then also carving out intentional space to go, what do I want the next phase to look like? How do I have clarity before I just go full speed at the next goal? I want to be really intentional that I'm running in the right direction. And so Sedona really gave us that space to have those conversations, to dream bigger, to reflect on like, okay, this is where we came from. Are we still headed on the right path? So yes, it was time for us to connect and hike. But it's also a strategic business move to give yourself space to go, what do I actually want? Or am I already in the dream? Because if you're not paying attention, you might already be living your dream life. Yeah. Right.
And then you get in that move the goalpost. And it's like, then good luck being happy if you're always like chasing the next thing. I think I've learned that, man, getting the kiddo and getting it. Like we just like went to the store and picked up Willow, having the baby, and the marriage and like kind of settling into our own little groove here. Like we were talking about this before we hopped on air. Like I think I just got 10 times more dangerous now because I'm like, go ahead and take it all away. I have everything that I need to be happy. I have, and it's not tied to anything. And I think when you get to that place, it makes you super dangerous. And I tell people, Kentucky Derby reference, right? Derby's coming up here in a couple of weeks. I say, if you're a high performer, you're like a racehorse. And racehorses don't live their entire life on the track. They actually live a very small percentage of their life on the track, actually running the race in circles. Most of their time is in prep, recovery, getting massages. It's like it's taking care of yourself. I can only imagine how charged up you guys are to be like, okay, we're home. now let's go get it again. Like, is there like did you guys like find a different gear almost, right? Because like when you're driving a stick shift, you're like fourth gear, and it's like, bah, 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 bah. And it's like, push the clutch, find the new one. Okay, now there's a whole nother band of us to hit.
We're in the space of now we've put our blinders on. So especially in sales, especially with social media, you see all of this of like, try this, do this, run after this, chase this. And right now we are so laser focused on making bigger jumps, not just like moving the goalpost a little bit of, okay, this is our 5, like we sat down and said, this is the plan for the next 5 years. And right now we're in, put the blinders on and start chunking away at that day by day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A 5-year plan. How do you guys do that? How do you sit down and plan for the next 5 years when everything, especially if you guys don't know, I'll give them a shout. Weaver Sales Academy sent me a little box here. We're just gonna open this up right now because this is part of the of my question to you guys. This is nice little bubble wrapping here on the super sweet thing, because if people don't know who you are, they've got the Insurance Buzz podcast. And so I was on recently and got buzzed on the podcast. And so with technology and everything, oh, there's some coffee in there too.
Oh yeah. Kansas City coffee, baby.
Kansas City coffee. And there's and an ink pen, you guys. So, you know, I can say, just sign right there on the line that's dotted. Press hard, bottom copies for you. You know, they don't do that anymore. People, you know, young kids, the Gen Xers like, press hard, bottom copy. What are they talking about? You guys won't know about them 3-color copy papers. What do you talk to me, guys? We're going to leave this propped up right here in a back little promo for the rest of the show. Talk to me, guys. Like, how are you planning for 5 years when everything's changing so like drastically, especially in the insurance business, right? Like rates are all over the place, and we got a ton of insurance agents that listen to this podcast. Like, how did you guys sit down and, you know, plan out 5 years? And Courtney, I hope you don't say you just rubbed the magic crystals and it came to you, because then that was a stab at Courtney. I'm just joking.
No. So
bring them crystals.
Hey, we love them. Yeah, we love some crystals, man. So, but you got to think, it's like any goal. So we sit down and we're like, what do we envision not only our business, but our life looking like? What do we want our life to look like in 5 years? What does it take to accomplish that lifestyle? Then you go from the 5-year mark to the 3-year mark. And then we go from the 3-year to the 18-month typically, and then 18 to 1 year, and then so on and so forth. So, because you're right, a lot of things can change, but the vision of what we want our dream life to look like is not going to change. So maybe some of the things on how we get there, sure, you may have to tweak, because we're living in an age right now that is advancing at a very fast pace with technology. Insane, so who knows what the next 5 years looks like? But regardless of what technology does, what the industry does, we know without a doubt what we want our life to look like. And so if we can start chunking away month by month, quarter by quarter, year by year, and we're on that pace, we know without a doubt we're going to have that dream life.
I think an exercise that we did.
Bank. I like that.
Yeah. We always focus on build your life first and then build a business or career that supports that lifestyle, because especially in our society, we have it reversed. We build our business first and our career first, and we delay what we want our life to look like. And we're big believers in, how do we have both simultaneously? What does that look like? Well, that's very intentional. And an exercise, if you want to apply this practically, is writing down, what does your dream life cost? Like, if you get up and you like beginning to end, spend your days doing exactly what you want to do. First, it requires you to get really crystal clear on what do you want your days to look like? How do you want to make money? How do you want to support yourself? And then if money were no object, how much would it cost to live the lifestyle you want? You want to roll out on like a new Porsche sports car? Do you want to have the biggest house on the lake in this spot? Like, whatever that looks like, actually get a dollar figure. Because then you can compare and go, this is what I need to earn to have the life that I want to live. And that might not be 5 years away. That might be 3 years away, or it's 10 years away. And then you can start adjusting, okay, how am I going to get there faster? And also in the process, not burn myself out.
That's right.
Like, how do I enjoy the journey of me going towards that? That's always our balance.
Yeah, like the American dream. Like, yeah, let's just grind and grind and grind and move the field goal post and work and work and work until we're 65, and then we're gonna live the life of our dreams for 2 years, and then we're gonna die of a heart attack. And yeah, we all know how that is. So, how can we not only grind and be very ambitious high performers while also saying yes to the adventure right now and living our dream life right now and enjoying the journey and the so-called empire that we're building?
Yeah.
I love that. Do you guys mind sharing what that 5-year looks like? Like, what's that goalpost right now for you guys?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So 5 years for us, we want to be able to live the life that we want, support ourselves, and not have to actively be making money if we don't want to. We want our money to be working for us without us actively having to pursue, grind, go for the next thing. So transparently, we don't have kids yet. So that will change how we parent, what that looks like. Because in the next 5 years, that will probably be something that we introduce into our lifestyle, and then where we want to live. So we're very nomadic. We want to be able to digitally work from a lot of different places all over the country, and kind of time that. So spending winters in one spot, summers in another.
Winters in Sedona.
Yeah.
Summers in like Lake Tahoe or Glacier, like on the lake. Yet you have the mountains. Being able to take our family places, of course, like just having we have freedom now. We have financial freedom. We have freedom, but going to that next level of having an amount of money that a lot of people would refer to as FU money. Like, how do we have FU money in 5 years to where we don't have to work if we don't want to? We can sell out, call it quits if we want to. We don't even have to sell. Like, we've done what we needed to do in preparation to where our money is working for us, to where bam, like if we want to show up and do what we love, we do it. If we want to take a year off and take the kid or kids on a freaking trip across Europe, we do it. Like whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, I'm big on mental manifestation. So, like, speak it to the universe, baby. I like it.
That's right.
I very much like it. Well, I appreciate you guys hooking me up with the swag here. I appreciate that. I'll definitely put that to good use. I'm a coffee drinker, so we'll be trying that out tomorrow morning. I've been saving this for the podcast to open, and I've been dying to get in it. So I'm excited to try that out. I appreciate you guys, and thank you again for having me on the Insurance Buzz podcast. Guys, if you're listening to this right now and you haven't checked it out, go check out that episode and all the other episodes. Michael and Courtney interview a ton of people on that podcast, tons of information. You might say, well, I don't know about the insurance business. Listen, I'm telling you right now, guidance counselors and high school teachers and college teachers, I think we can all agree that they don't always steer people in the right direction. I was certainly a product of that when I started my first business. My chemical engineering track was the objective, and my teacher and my guidance counselor, when I said, hey, I just want to go mow grass, they're like, what? You're throwing your life away. And the same situation kind of goes for insurance, right? A lot of times you go meet somebody like, oh, I'm in insurance. Like, what went wrong in your life? Like, nothing, dude. Some of the wealthiest guys I know are in the insurance game. So, if you're a young hustler, you're listening to this, one of my younger listeners, check out the Insurance Buzz, man. Might be a good financial decision for you to maybe chase that track down. And the Weavers can help you. Other guests that we have on can help you. And so I want to give you guys a little plug there and a little shout out. So we appreciate you guys. Talk to me about, no problem at all. Talk to me about what you guys are seeing right now in the industry. We got a lot of insurance agents that listen to this podcast. And there were a lot of rate changes that have happened, that are happening, will happen. Seems like if you guys are listening on the audio only, they just looked at each other and gave each other a nod, like, shit, we know where we're going with this one. So get your notepads ready. And if you're not watching on the video version on YouTube, highly recommend going and maybe switch it over right now. I'll toss it to you guys. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, man. So rate increases are by far the number one thing that's happening right now. And here's the thing, like when you do, if you're currently listening, you don't read like on the industry, you're not researching. That's all I do. Cause we work with over 5,000 insurance professionals across the country right now at Weaver Sales Academy. So we have to stay up to date. And the insurance market is extremely volatile, and it's going to be volatile for at least till 2026, more than likely 2027. When you're considering inflation, catastrophic claims, the cost of everything, the one thing that nobody's really talking about is most insurance companies are invested in bonds. Well, bonds are now performing at an all-time low, so their investments aren't doing well either. So you have like a combination of things working against insurance companies, and as the producer and the agent, you're getting frustrated. Like every single day you sound like a freaking broken record. All right. And I get it. Like you're frustrated as hell. You're tired of having these conversations because it's one after the other and it feels like the same conversation. But my challenge, or my, not even challenge, I don't want to challenge you here. Like if you were in the customer seat or situation, how would you want to be treated? You're somebody that knows nothing about insurance. They deserve the time of day, just like you would deserve the time of day. And so it's funny you're bringing up rate increases, because we just taught this to our Weaver Sales Academy community. We taught them a 6-step process on how to handle these rate increase calls. And so I'll go through it real fast. So the first one is always thank your customer for calling in, because there's thousands of competitors out there that would want their business, and they're giving you the time of day to save their business. So I like to always start off with a thank you that leads right into rapport building. Get them off of the topic they called about for 3 to 5 minutes. This is your competitive edge. This is your competitive advantage of making yourself human. You're not just a robot. You're not just a 1-800 number. You live in the community. You work with this customer. You've probably worked with them for years. They're upset their rates are going up. I get that, but let's play catch up first. Hey, how's work? How's the kids? How the grandkids? You got any vacations planned? Like get their mind off of the insurance related topic and humanize the conversation. All right. Does that make sense?
Love that.
Okay. So then going into step 2, that's where you would show empathy. Like empathize with the customer. Like everybody is struggling right now financially. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. Inflation is absolutely crushing people, without a doubt. It's crushing you. It's crushing us.
Tell me about it, bro. I can't go to Taco Bell anymore. I mean, that's when did the number 7 at Taco Bell start being $11? That was a $7.47 meal for all of high school, like all the time. And now all of a sudden you go there, you get 6. You go to McDonald's, you get 6 McDoubles and 6 McChickens. They're like, that's $44.45, please. I'm like, whoa, that was on the dollar menu. That doesn't exist anymore.
I think our digestive tracts have given us the warning before inflation did with Taco Bell.
I know that cantina chicken's pretty good, Courtney.
Oh, you must have a gut of steel, because there's no way
I drink a lot of bourbon. It's all in preparation.
But you're exactly
sorry, not
right.
to get sidetracked.
No, you're good. That's true.
But this is the shit that we're talking about, though, because
it's everywhere.
This is relatable to customers. So many times, and I don't want to say we speak at customers or talk at customers, like try to get down on their level, be able to relate with them. And that's how you show them empathy. Like, hey, I get it. Every time I go to the grocery store, I feel like my bill goes up. My utilities are going up. My freaking property taxes on my home went up. Like, yes, insurance is going up. My insurance rates went up too. Like, I don't want you to think that your rates are going up.
Pull out your own bill, but like, look at this one. Like, you got $9 million worth of life insurance? Damn, I'm paying too much.
Yep. It's so true, though. So if you can show empathy by relating to them, again, when talking about, look, we preach on this a lot at Weaver Sales Academy, like soft skills, and soft skills going into the future are going to be your competitive edge and advantage against all of your competitors. People that just read off scripts, people that sound like robots. Like, this is how you're going to keep customers. This is how you're going to earn customers. Right now, we're talking about keeping. You have to have the ability to have these conversations with customers and give them the time and be able to relate to them, because they're going through shit, you're going through shit, and that is okay.
Do you think Michael too is like, I mean, we've got some like Gen Xers that are like starting with us, right? It's like, I think Gen Zs, because it's Gen X and then millennials and then Gen Zs, right?
Yep.
So like these Gen Z kids are like, dude, they're so fucked up. Like they're so backwards because of social media and stuff. Like you try to get them on the phones and they're like, oh my gosh. But if you're listening to this right now and you're like, DJ, you just called me fucked up. Listen, man, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to tell you, if you're listening to this podcast, do what Michael's telling you. Go get some soft skills. Learn how to not be upset when someone tells you no. Learn how to laugh off somebody hanging up on you. Learn how to be able to persist through the opposition, because in a world full of hand-me-downs and participation trophies, man. It's like, we've gotten so soft and we've lost some of that empathy. Like, you can't have empathy without listening skills, right? And so, like, if I can't sit down and have a conversation with you, it's impossible for me to have any of that empathy that we're talking about.
But where they shine,
I think Gen Zs actually have an upper hand because they can communicate their feelings. Like, they have tapped into how it makes them feel. So the only thing that they would have to do is communication skills, improve communication skills to be able to communicate how they're feeling, and then active listening.
Which, if you're in the insurance industry, that's exactly what we specialize in Weaver Sales Academy, is the conversation piece. All right. Filling the gap between corporate training and what it takes to be successful in insurance sales. So, but you're right, DJ. Like, so they have an emotional awareness, like Gen Z's. But here's the thing, from a consumer standpoint, specifically with the insurance industry, 83% of Gen Zers surveyed say that they want a relationship with their insurance and financial services advisor. They want that person they can go to and trust. And that's why transactional selling and the shit that we've been doing for the last 2 decades in the insurance industry, that shit is over. Like, it is over. If you continue to do that and you continue to do the same conversations and job a robot can do, you will be replaced without a doubt.
Wait, Michael, you mean I shouldn't just buy $20,000 a month worth of leads and be okay with a 30% lap cans in my book, right? And just back, like, do you know the number of guys?
You're all fired up on internet leads, man. High pitch Michael's coming out because I'm gonna get fired up.
The number of people I've seen, speaking at these conferences, and I'm like, wait, they gave this guy the stage because he's got a $36 million book of business, but he didn't tell everybody that he's having to backfill a third of it every year because of his churn rate. Because they're selling they're selling monoline, customers that have one policy with them and are shopping every 6 months or super price sensitive. That's not how you build a long-term business.
No, that's not how, in my opinion, that is not how you build a foundationally strong, stable business as an insurance agency owner, unless you're purely going for the build, scale, sell model. But even then, that type of model is going to hurt you on the back end on the sell because it's extremely transactional and the lapse cans out. So it doesn't look like a healthy book of business.
And if you're going to sell anyways, you're looking at your EBITDA. And if that churn is that high, then that's going to kill your EBITDA.
And yeah, I mean, we could go on a rant there and we can go into internet leads here in a little bit, but shit, man, like, the one thing that no one talks about is just because someone is on, you can learn from somebody, but just remember, up on stage, they're not telling you the whole story. Yeah. They're not telling you the debt they're in. They're not they're just not telling you everything. All right. And so that's really important.
I had a guy told me he was like, it's been rough lately. I'm like, yeah, business, no, business is good. I'm just trying to get out underneath this $20,000 worth of credit card debt. When I bought a bunch of leads when I started, I'm like, you racked up 20 grand worth of credit card debt buying leads. And they're like, yeah, like, he acted like it was just the norm. And some of this stuff, I'm not an insurance agent, never have been. We work with them, but like, still, I learn stuff every single day, man, that I'm just like, holy smokes.
That's actually pretty low when you look at,
oh my gosh,
based on our conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the insurance space, $20,000 isn't that high. I mean, we're talking to multiple 6-figure people that have, that's multiple 6 figures of debt.
7 figures.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those, look, and you know this, I think I've said this before, probably on this podcast, like, internet leads can be a portion of your marketing plan. They just shouldn't be the entire marketing plan. And if you are going to scale using internet leads, just have a plan. Yeah. All right, just have a plan. Like, this money is going to buy this many internet leads. This is how much it will convert over to business. It's going to take me 18 months, 24 months, 36 months to break even. If I'm writing single line products, I'll never break even because they're going to leave. So just have a plan in place and know where your money's going and track the plan to make sure you're actually fulfilling the plan and you're just not throwing money at the wall and seeing what comes out on the other side.
I love that. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off a rabbit.
You're good.
No, that's exactly when you talked about Sedona. That was the same kind of thing. Like, we have to constantly check in and go, when you're talking about a 5-year plan, like, what do you want your business to look like? Because they can look very different. And for us, I don't care if you tell me that you have a multiple 7, 8, 9-figure business. I'm always looking at what's coming in the household. Like, how much did you have to spend to get that? And what am I bringing home? Because to me, that's very important of being able to diversify funds elsewhere. I think where we get caught up, especially in the insurance space, is this person has a $10 million book of business. This is what they did. I have to do the exact same thing without rinsing through is that what I want? Am I willing to go through those challenges? Am I willing to stomach that debt? Am I willing to make those sacrifices? That's where it's like, you constantly have to be doing that.
And it goes back into the conversation that we started with our, like, does your dream life actually take you to, does it actually take a $40 million book of business to live the life that you want? Or could you do that off of a $7.5 million book of business with the right team? Like, that's why that's really important. And that's man, I'm glad that you referenced that earlier. Like, figure out what you want out of life and then build out the career or the vision that's going to help you achieve that life. Like, so many times we're just chasing these. And I was one of these. I was a product of this in the insurance industry. I was chasing the trophies. I was chasing the trips. I was doing the shit. But the one thing that we did extremely well is we did make sure we were profitable. So even though I was chasing these, even though I didn't know why I was chasing them, I just wanted to be the best. All right. Like, the ego was playing into that. And so when I figured out, hey, how do I control my ego and actually learn how to grow my business for what I want, not what the company wants, that's when things got a lot better.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's go back to whatever you were teaching us before we got off on that tangent.
I was like,
3, educate.
Number 3, educate.
Yep, educate, baby. So this is where you're going to educate and this is really, really important. So many times we're talking to producers and they're like, well, we just tell them, yeah, rates have went up. We've got storms going on all across the country. Like, don't be general, be as specific as possible. So number 1, you're going to educate them on inflation. Customers know inflation's going wild right now. So, like, utilize stories. So if any of you have claim stories, so like we were just talking to a customer that's an agent. His customer had a claim on a new Ford, barely any damage to the back. They had to replace the bumper. And because of the technology and the sensors, it cost like $7,500. All right, $7,500 for a bumper that didn't have to necessarily be replaced, but it had a little crack in it, like $7,500. Utilize real stories that your customers can understand. So inflation is out of control. All right, next, catastrophic claims are out of control. I mean, you've got Texas freezing.
Mother Nature's pissed. She's so mad. There's hurricanes, that states freezing that don't normally freeze. It was snowing in California, but you're also getting earthquakes in California. I mean, like, everywhere. Last week here, it was 155 degrees, and this week it's going to be 50 degrees. Like,
and the severe weather. I mean, we've always had tornadoes in Kentucky, right? But like, literally, we've had 2 big outbreaks. Like, it's been like 1 tornado. These things are like shotgunning across the state now. It's like 4 and 5 that touch the ground whenever we get tornado storms. It's crazy
everywhere, man. We were just talking to another client, Chris, and he's down by like the Panama City area. Dude, they just had tornadoes there last week. I'm like, what?
Shout out, Chris.
What the hell's going on? Like, man, we got tornadoes everywhere. So educate them on that. It's something they can relate to. Next, and this is
somebody's got to call Harp and get a hold of this thing, man.
Yeah.
For all my conspiracy listeners, they're like, "How he mentioned Harp?" No, we're good.
We can get in some conspiracy.
No, we'll keep you guys in good. I get in trouble enough on my own, Michael. I don't need to drag you in.
Education. You've got inflation. You've got cat claims. Next, this has been one of the biggest takeaways that our clients took from this training was be honest with the customer in the education process with the fact that, hey, DJ, without a doubt, you can go shop and you can 100% save money on your insurance right now, today, without a doubt. But in 6 months, your rates will 100% increase because this isn't just our company going through this. This is an industry going through this. And so, sure, you could shop and leave. I don't know if they're going to give you as good a coverages. I doubt they're going to give you as good a customer service, but they'll save you some money. But then your rates will go right back up to where they are at today, if not more, in 6 months. And also, please know that longevity matters when it comes to insurance. So what I mean by longevity, DJ, the longer you're with a company, not only do you get discounts, but when it comes claim time, they take that into effect. So if you shop us and you leave because you're going for a better rate and then you have a claim, well, now you have 1 month of experience with an insurance company. I can guarantee you're getting canceled at renewal. And you think your rates are high today? Think about what rates will look like with a claim on your record. All right. So this is just you educating, because customers don't know what customers don't know. And so by educating them and getting transparent with this and just leveling the playing field, hey, I know you can leave and you can save money, but this is what can happen. if you do that. Like, my job is not to save you money. My job is to make sure that on your worst day, your house burns down, you total out your car, God forbid you die or your spouse dies, that you guys have a plan in place so that you're not devastated financially. That's my job.
Drop that. Take that one. I don't care. Even if you don't sell insurance, find an iteration of that, because what he just said was full blown value. Had nothing to do with insurance, the financial instrument. It's him taking care of his customer and knowing that you have somebody that's got your back to have all that planned out.
It's, yeah, don't get me started on that, because I'll start ranting on that one too, baby. You do not save people money. You don't sell off of money. All right. So step number 4, this is where you're going to ask for the business again, even though they're a customer. Hey, DJ, does everything make sense? They're going to say, yep. Hey, would you agree that you'll stay with us for at least the next 6 months just to see what your next renewal looks like? So I'm asking for the business again, because if they commit to you, they're not going anywhere.
This is that second sell, right? We always talk about this, especially in recurring businesses, right? Recurring revenue businesses. Oftentimes there's a second sell. We get this all the time. People sign up with us. They come back a couple months later, like, cancel my account. I don't even know what I'm paying you guys for. And it's like, well, support team has to get on a call and go, well, look, this, and this. And it's like, you don't still think social media is a fad, right? And they go, no. It's like, you need to be in this space. Oh, yeah. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, cool. It's that second sell. You have to resell them on staying with your services. So, and again, this goes for the 16-year-old kid that's got a lawn care business, bro. You probably need to stop in halfway through the season and resell your mowing customers, right? Like you need to sell. You have to keep, if you've got recurring revenue, which you should, trust me. Old Coach Carroll here learned a lot out of his first couple businesses. I will never have another business that is geographically bound, is not recurring revenue, or has a seasonality effect to it, right? Those are the 3 detrimentals. I always say, if Walmart had to close down for 3 months out of the year, they wouldn't be Walmart anymore. And so, I think that's a good point, Michael, is to resell your customers. And a lot of times the agent doesn't get to do that, right? It's their front office team that's taking that phone call of like, hey, my insurance went up $50 a month. I want to cancel. And if you have an ill-advised, ill-trained team member, which by the way is not their fault, that's your fault, the business owner, for not training them or hiring an awesome team like the Weavers to train them for you. And they go, okay, Susan, I'll go ahead and cancel out your account. You won't see any more payments. Thank you. And that's your cancellation process. Good luck, man.
Yeah.
Amen, brother. So I love that one, because you're asking for the commitment. People don't want to shop. They really don't. It takes time. It's a pain in the ass. Like, at least this is what they're thinking to themselves. So if you can just say, hey, can we agree that you're going to give us a shop for the remaining 6 months until your next renewal? Can we just agree you're going to be a customer? They say yes. Bam. Great. Then you go into step 5. Now it's time to pivot into an opportunity. All right. So you just you thanked them, you built rapport with them, you showed empathy, you educated, you asked for the business. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this call, we're going to turn it into an opportunity. All right. This is where we help the customer. This is where, with that +1 approach. So whether it's a Google review, a referral, life insurance is probably my favorite. Like if somebody's calling in, man, take care of the call. And then, hey, DJ, before I let you off the phone, I don't see any notes on file regarding your life insurance plan. Tell me, what's your life insurance look like through work? Just pivot right into it. Like, why would you give them the opportunity to get off the phone without pivoting, all right, to something? So Google reviews and referrals are obviously beneficial, but you want to go to the next level of helping your customer, make it a life insurance pivot.
I love that.
And then lastly, step number 6, thank them again, baby. Thank you so much for your business. We appreciate you. It's that simple. Like, show your appreciation. That goes so far in today's times.
What's your thoughts on, Michael, because I've often said to congratulate customers when they do business with us instead of thanking them. What's your thoughts on that?
I like congratulations. I know when we help agents out with Weaver Sales Academy, it's definitely a thank you and congrats. Let's get your team rocking and rolling. Let's start crushing, baby.
I love it. Go back to number 4. What happens if they say no? If you're like, hey, can you give me another 6 months? And they're like, no, man, I'm going shopping. Like, this is too much. I can't afford another $52 a month.
Yeah. What would it take?
What would it take to keep you?
Yeah. What would it take to keep you? Because here's the thing.
That takes some coconuts to ask that question, buddy.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Like, and this is in the education part that I didn't skip over, but look, you're going to bring up rates in the education part. And there's only 2 ways to really save people money. And that's either lowering their coverage, which I hate, because when it comes claim time, all right, no one ever, when their house burns to the ground, is, holy shit, I was overpaying for my insurance. No, they're saying, my God, I hope my house can be rebuilt. Like, you total out your car, no one's wondering how much they're paying. They're wondering, do I have a rental car? Is my car going to be replaced? When somebody dies, I've never talked to a widow that's like, hey, you remember those rates? They were a little out of control. No, they call you crying and they're saying, hey, I remember talking about that life insurance plan. Did my spouse go ahead and get that going? All right. Like, that's the shit that matters. And that's why, like, I hate lowering coverages. And then the other option here is increasing deductibles.
That's it.
Well, increasing
Those are
deductibles
only two sliders.
That's cool in thought, and that's cool in theory until you increase it. Oh yeah, would you file a claim if it's less than $5,000 on your home? Of course they're going to say no, probably not. But guess what? When they actually have a claim and it's less than $5,000, they're calling you. Well, hey, you remember that that's going to be a shitty conversation, because most people don't have $5,000 sitting in their checking account to pay for a claim. The average person across the United States, 76% of people live paycheck to paycheck. They don't have $5,000 just waiting for a homeowner's claim. All right. So that's why I hate lowering coverages and I hate increasing deductibles. And I go back to my job is not to save your money. My job is to make sure on your worst day that you have a plan in place so you're not devastated financially.
Yeah. Do you Courtney, what do you got to add to that? I seen that.
No,
she's having a proud wifey moment right now. Just watching him roll. I can see this.
I am, because to me, as a salesperson, if you have a product or a service that can genuinely help somebody, you are selfish if you do not sell it. You are selfish.
I agree 100%.
So hearing him say that, I am proud, because most of us as consumers, if we're not selling it, we don't know the ins and outs of it. We're counting on somebody to say, do you have my back? And this is where, especially as we talk about technology, you're opening up a box. You're opening up a box that is a gift from us for being on a podcast. Because for us, we are very much all about the quality of relationships. That's how we self-preserve when it comes to AI and technology. I am a data nerd. I am a tech nerd. I will leverage technology all day long to enhance my relationships, but I will never let them replace my relationships. So when I'm looking at that is very much the Gary Vee approach of, if I can have 100 raving fans and I pour into them, what is the impact that I'm making out into the world? So hell yeah, I'm proud of him for talking about this, because this is an industry that for the most part has been very focused on transactional selling and price. And these are people who spend their entire life building a life, and they don't know what they don't know. And it's up to us as a sales professional, whatever your product or service is, if it helps somebody, get out there and sell it. Be honest with people. Let them slam the door in your face. That's okay. That's part of it. Talk about having coconuts. You get a door slammed in your face enough and you're like, hey, my product helps people, you'll kick the door down.
Amen.
Take that one to the bank. Yeah, I don't think you guys can hear my sound.
We can't hear it. I wish I could hear it.
It's the old school cash register sound, so the people know to take note of that. I think too, Michael, is I don't think a lot of agents either get training or train their team that insurance is financial. It always cracks me up when I see on people's business cards, they're like insurance and financial services. I'm like, insurance is a financial service. Like, that's a financial instrument. It's like, I got an old guy lives across the street from me. He's got a 125-acre farm, and the storms that came through last year blew off some of my roof, blew off some of his roof, and his name's Dink. And I said, Dink, you going to get a claim? He's like, I don't know, DJ. I don't want my rates to go up. I'm like, huh? He's like, I don't know. I might just pay to patch it or put it out of pocket. I said, have you ever filed a claim? He goes, nope. Been with Kentucky Farm Bureau for almost 60 years. Never filed a claim. I'm like, bruh, get you a new roof. What are you doing? Like, I think sometimes people think it's like, it's just something I pay into. It's like the policy works both ways. It's like, you want to make sure, like, and I used to always tell Mark Smith, my State Farm guy, I was like, I don't understand when you see these people on the news, like when they're like, my home. I'm like, bitch, you getting a new one. You should be jumping up and down and excited. The only problem that I'll be crying about is if I'm underinsured or uninsured or underinsured, right? That's when you should get upset. But I mean, it's really, to me, like, I've had multiple house claims. I've had business claims, right? It's like, dude, having the right insurance, it's actually a trampoline that like actually helps you bounce back better than before. That's what Mark always tells his clients. He's like, hey, I'm not here to provide you insurance services that are just going to put you back together. Everything we sell our customers is that when that bad day happens, we're putting you back to better than you were, but when that thing happens, and you're not going to get that from the get-go, right? And so I think that's a big piece. I just don't think that the agents do a good job of teaching their team members what they're selling. Hell, I was in the bank the other day, Michael. This is a broader example of like the bad training that happens, right? And I know you guys will love this because you do training. A lady in the bank, I was pulling out a decent amount of cash, and I said, yeah, I don't know. They just keep printing this stuff. She goes, yeah, it just surprises me. We still have enough gold to back all this money. And I'm like, we moved off the gold standard in the 70s. You work at a bank and you don't know that? Like, I think the lack of training goes across all industries.
It definitely goes across all industries. And that's partly like we have a passion. I mean, we got into the coaching and training space to elevate an entire industry because we saw a major need. I mean, we talked to almost 500 insurance professionals in an 18-month period, and we determined roughly about 5 of the same common struggles that everyone was having. All right. And so, and training is one of those because number one, most business owners hate to train, and I don't blame you. Like, training takes so much time. It takes a skill set. And as the business owner and CEO of your business, you have other things that are more important than training. If you can find a partner that can do a better job and streamline the process to where all you're doing is testing them out, making sure they're a good culture fit and they're hitting their numbers, because you're the community liaison, you're managing other team members. Like, if you're new in the agency, you're probably the janitor. You're wearing multiple hats. So if you can, and this is with everything, this is with training, this is with what you do, DJ, helping agents have an online amazing presence, hiring, like there's a lot of different proven partners out there that you as the business owner can partner with to make your life easier. And when you start thinking of a 10x move versus a 2x move, you get to the 10x move by partnering with other great people and utilizing their expert skill sets to get where you want to go so that you can focus on what you want to do. Now, to get back into like that training world, and producers, people that are new to the insurance industry, they don't know anything. And so if you don't have a training process, then you're just plugging them in and hoping they figure it out. The one thing that they're going to number one be focused on is money. And if they're focused on money, the customer's going to be focused on money. And this is in anything you sell. If you're focused on the bottom line, your customer is going to be focused on the bottom line. Like, you have to have a mindset shift. You have to. Like, what you're doing, how you're helping people the money doesn't matter. You're having conversations, asking questions, determining a need, and then solving the need.
I love it, man. I was just letting you roll. That was
where I'm at, man. I have spoken.
I love it, man. I love it. Courtney, what's it like being married to this stud?
Dude, you know what? Have we told you the story of how we met? Like, it was the greatest
at the
sale.
Gym?
Yes, the greatest sale of all time.
I think I've heard that. That might have been a hot tub story. Let's run it back on the Sales Factory
every
podcast.
Time you say that, I have this whole vision of like, if you're listening to this, I want you to get your mind out of the gutter. This was just a normal hot tub conversation, okay? Like, we were just,
sure,
yeah. So yeah, you're like, wait. I'm going to condense it. So at the time, I had been in sales for a while. I got my car stolen. I was in a bad spot in my personal life. I was in my early 20s. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was broke. I was in debt. It was like I had to move back in with my parents. It was a total kick in the balls when it comes to your ego and thinking like, okay, I'm going to go out and make it. And I stayed up all night and I really got intentional about what do I want my life to look like. I was going to go back and get my MBA and I was going to change career paths. Sales is the best. If you're in sales, stay in sales. And so I went to the gym at 5:00 in the morning because health was a top priority for me at that time. And I met him and I knew right away, like, oh, this is the person that I want to be with. So for him to approach me and like, okay, it wasn't creepy at all. It was very just how he talks now. Like, he genuinely cares. And I think, side note, whatever you're building, the most important decision, I firmly believe, is who you choose to build it with.
Yep.
Take that one to the bank.
Like, that is, when it comes to a partner, a business partner, a personal partner, who you choose to share the dream that you have with. Like, you got to protect that, because there are certain people who will shit all over your parade no matter how great it is. They won't show up and they won't throw candy. Yep. And then there are other people that you're like, hey, I think I have this idea for this. And they will go, hell yeah, how do we make it happen? You just have to focus on surrounding yourself with those kind of people. So yeah, I made the best decision ever by picking this person as my life partner. Hell yeah.
Well, that's a samesies, all right? Because we've built
samesies.
So DJ, you know this, but everybody else, you don't. Like, we've built every business together. We built the insurance agency together. We built Weaver Sales Academy together. She created a fitness business that she grew to be over a 6-figure business in less than 6 months. She was number 14 out of 40,000 with her direct sales company selling natural skincare products. She did it in less than a year and a half. Like, so we've learned everything that we're talking about today. We've learned along the road. We've learned along the journey. We've taken way more L's. We've been kicked when we've been down, and that's how you learn, and that's how you get to where we're at today. Like, to be able to talk about, look, I used to, when it came to rate increases, when I very first started, I wasn't taught like how to handle a rate increase call. Like, this is all through trial and error. What works, what doesn't work. And in partners, having the right partner is 100% the most important decision you will ever make in your life.
Yeah. I think and it's even more important for an entrepreneur, right? Like, because dude, I can't, it breaks my heart the number of guys that are blue collar guys. I mainly see it as some of my blue collar guys, but they'll be so fired up. They're like, Coach, I love all your content. It makes me believe myself. I want to go achieve this thing, but man, my wife's just bitching at me all the time because I'm not home, or, she's not bought in. She wants me to go back and get the factory job again. And it's like, I'm like that's like the worst place for a coach or a mentor to be in, because it's like the right news is like, bro, your problem is at home. Like, your girl's not on board and you got to fix that before anything else. Like, cause it's like, gosh, it's like, it's so rough to see somebody so lit up and on fire inside, and then they go home to a fire extinguisher. And it happens both. Like, it's not just like the wife. I've seen women that are like a go-getter, and then the husband's like, I don't want this. And I think a lot of that comes into just relationships. And Tori and I have been together 10 years. It's like, you have to, trust is a big thing, but you also have to make sure you're going to the same place, like that you guys want the same thing, right? Like, you
get on a tandem bike. Anytime you go into partnership with anyone, you are no longer riding your own bicycle. You are riding a tandem bike. And to that point, what I would say, because I hear that too about, it's having a partnership that you both are on the same page isn't something that just happens. You have to communicate. That's the big thing, is you have to be willing to share, this is my dream, and paint the picture for what does that look like for the partner? What does that look like for her? What does that look like for him? And be okay with sharing what the fears are. If the partner is like, I'm afraid you won't be home as much, I'm afraid it's going to put us in debt, like, be okay to share that so you can come up with a solution. I think that's the big thing, is if you're going to paint this vision, you also have to be okay with somebody saying that scares me, and working towards a solution that you both are, again, you're on that tandem bike and you're working in the same direction.
And I would also say that doing it together helped us because of the understanding, but a lot of married couples aren't in business together. And so being able to have a conversation around not only the vision, but so many times as business owners, you go home, they ask you how your day was. You might tend to talk about what didn't go well. And so really incorporating what also went well is like really critical in those conversation pieces.
We're touching it all today in the sales factory, baby. Take it all to the bank. I'll give it a sound bite one more time.
Yeah, if you didn't listen to it, like, you talked about this podcast episode, the one that we all did together where you and Tori were on, we talked a lot about entrepreneurs as a couple and the partnership, business partners, and what that looks like. So if you're listening and you're like, oh, I actually want to get more into the relationship side of it, listen to that episode. It was one of my favorite episodes because it was two couples who are building businesses really transparently talking about what it looks like.
Yeah. You guys go check that out on the intro. It's actually, I think you guys split it in 2 episodes because we did. We kind of nerded out. Tori was on there with me, but she, our little gremlin, had to get put back in the water. No, you put them in the water and they turn into a gremlin. I can't remember. She's walking
Don't
now.
feed
So
them
she's just
after dark.
she's a 24/7 gremlin at this point. But the baby, not Tori. But
is she up and running around everywhere?
Bro, she was running around the yard earlier today. Yeah, she's just, and her hands are in the sky, so she's like this. She looks like Daddy on a late Friday night. So after one too many of those Kentucky drinks, that's right. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming to the Sales Factory and hanging out with me. It always goes by so fast whenever we hop on these podcasts and hang out. How can people find you online if they're listening to the podcast? Courtney, Michael, I know you guys each have an Instagram. They have a combined Instagram. There's a Weaver Sales Academy. Let's plug them all. That way people can find you guys on all the outlets.
Yeah, I would go to weaversalesacademy.com. That's where you can find out more about the program and what we offer and how you can work with us. I think the biggest one, I like to hang out on Instagram. I'm under Courtney Vi, or you can do M&C Weaver. And Michael loves LinkedIn. That's where you're going to find him hanging out the most. Michael Weaver. Cool. You can send us a message on any of the platforms. We're everywhere. But since you're already in the ears, just go to the Insurance Buzz, and we give away a lot of free content, not just for the insurance industry, like you said, but sales, business, a lot of mindset about what we're navigating in our current economy and really how to thrive in the modern era.
Love that. I love that. And maybe I'm peeking a little. Did I hear a book coming down the pipeline or something? Maybe a little something about that.
We do, man. So I wrote another book.
Sales Factory exclusive.
Yeah, so I might have to come back on. So it'll be right
breaking
now,
news.
Looking like the new book will come out mid-October is what it's looking like. So this is the it's with a publisher. So this is something new. My first book, Game Changer, was self-published. So this one's with a publisher. So we got some things that we're working through over here, some new experiences. But yeah, brother, we're going to be teaching. It's all about sales professionals, not insurance specific, how to be successful in their day-to-day so they can live their dream life, brother, without getting burnout.
I love it. I love it.
It's overcoming the lie we've all been sold. Just do more, just buy more marketing, just make more calls, just do more, work more hours. More is bullshit if you're doing more of the wrong thing. And so in the book, I teach them how to do the right thing.
I guess if you're taking wrong turns on a road trip, you just take more wrong turns. It's not going to get you any closer to your destination.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Cool, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys coming in. Everybody that's listening to the podcast, if you guys like this episode, go give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment, all those fun things, man. I'm your host, Coach Carroll, in the Sales Factory podcast. It's been another one. Hustle. It's worth it.